Good morning, guys. World War II vehicle guy here. Figured I'd give a little update here with this Dodge WC51. In the previous video, I had talked about some of the things the truck needed. Slowly crossing off the items. The bedwood is yet to be desired, but it does work for now. I did just take some plywood and set it over the old decaying wood that's in the bed currently. That's another project. Maybe I'll get to it next winter. I got too many projects going on this winter. But one thing I did want to get nailed in the butt right away was the seat disaster that this truck had going on. So the only thing I really had for seats was that cushion laying on the back troop seat. And this, what's left of an original seat spring inside this wooden box. Excuse the mess. It was a late night last night, and I'm finally out here starting to get things cleaned up. So anyway, the biggest thing with these seats is the upper seat back springs. They're virtually impossible to find. Vintage Power Wagons does carry the new old stock seat bottom springs, but the upper springs, they're not really available. At least I haven't been able to track any down. So what I ended up doing here was the only thing I purchased was the seat canvas from Vintage Power Wagons. Everything else I pretty much made, which I'm kind of impressed with myself. They didn't turn out the best, but they certainly aren't the worst that I've ever seen, especially considering what I had to work with. So essentially what I ended up doing here was I took a rough measurement of the seat bottom, and I cut the seat bottom out. And essentially what I ended up doing for foam is I had old couch cushions from my late grandmother's estate. Essentially what I ended up doing was I took the cushions themselves apart, took the foam out, measured them, cut them to spec, and that's what I ended up stuffing the seats with. You can see I kind of used a variety of different tools to help cut the foam. It is kind of a pain in the butt to get cut, but we did manage. And like I said, I stayed up till about midnight last night working on these, and they didn't turn out too terrible. The canvas work could have been a little bit better, but like I said, not too bad considering what I had to work with. You can see there I just cut the frames to spec, the plywood on the bottom as well as the seat back, and then pulled it all together with some good screws. One thing I did figure out though is if you're going to use foam, make sure you figure out the correct for the back here. My foam was a little too thick, and that in turn moved. When I sat in the driver's seat, I was basically up against the steering wheel. These things are tight to begin with. So that was one thing I had to take apart several times, trim up the foam, but I did get it to where it's comfortable for me as well as the passenger. I am pretty proud of this project. I didn't think I was going to be able to figure it out, and it is pretty comfortable as compared to the springs themselves. The springs are noisy and they do get the bouncing, but the foam so far seems to be holding up pretty good. I didn't really do a walk around of this truck. This truck, like I said, the paint has something to be said for, but it runs and drives immaculate. I've put about 700 miles on it since I pulled it out of that yard. A lot of people ask me what's the most desirable thing about these trucks if you're going to be buying one. And like I had said before, let me get my light here. The biggest thing to watch out for in these Dodges is this T214 engine. So if you see on the side of the engine block, you can see T214. That indicates an original engine to this truck. Now, I'm not sure if this is the original engine to this truck, but this is what the block would have been during World War II. So it does have a period correct engine for it. That's the biggest thing I like to look out for on these Dodges. Like I said, I'm by no means an expert, but I know enough to be dangerous regarding these trucks. The next project here I think I'm going to get on for the winter time is I need to do the fuel sending unit gasket that does leak pretty good. So get that taken care of. You can see here we also have my 42 GPW script. This Jeep has the original tub on it still. It is a little thin in some spots, but overall it does make a nice driver. If I was to enter this into a show, I probably wouldn't win anything. But it is all original. It has held up pretty good for 80-some years. We'll do a separate video on that. This thing runs and drives pretty nice as well. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this inspires some other guys to figure out if you have a seat crisis like me to get it taken care of. Have a good day.